All right, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Frank Red, once again, locked tight in the dungeon. Hopefully, you are as well. I'm excited to do another show. We haven't been on in quite a few days. I thought it'd be a good time to check in with folks out there who follow the program and who help me do what I do, and who keep close ties on what's going on in the NBA. Specifically, we cover the Golden State Warriors more than anybody, but we also cover the Kings and all of the teams in the NBA. And we're going to spend some time tonight talking about where we are in the season. The All-Star break is over. It's like a track meet is what it is. The last 28, 27 games for NBA teams jockeying to see who's going to be in the playoffs, the top six, and which four teams are going to fight it out to get one of the last two spots in what we deem to be the playoffs, which is 1 through 8. Right now, the Golden State Warriors are in a tough situation. They are in the 9th slot. I guess the Lakers are in 10. The Kings and another team, I don't know, are in 7 and 8. And they're going to have to fight it out. The Warriors have been on an absolute roll. They've been playing good basketball at home, on the road before the All-Star break. They were also playing well. And I think the prospects were good this afternoon playing against the world champion, the reigning champion, Denver Nuggets. But the Nuggets came in to San Francisco and then to the Chase Center and showed everybody watching on television or who was in attendance at Chase why they are the world champion. After the Warriors got off to a 14-point lead in the first half, the Denver Nuggets went on a 14-0 run to tie the game at halftime, 61 all. And at that point, I think people felt that was pretty ominous. You don't let teams go on 14-0 runs easily. They got to be dominating you. And I think that happened. And the other thing that I'm sure gave Warrior fans some trepidation is Stephen Curry was not on tonight, particularly in the first half. He got in early foul trouble. So things were not looking good for the Warriors. And then in the second half, the Denver Nuggets basically dominated the game. Now, I've drawn a conclusion, as I'm sure you have. The Denver Nuggets are a better team than the Golden State Warriors. But what we know is in the playoffs, the best team does not always win. And it's up to the coaches and the players to devise a scheme, a strategy to go out and get the job done. So that can happen also. And we're going to talk about that. But if you just look at the starting five, the Nuggets have, people always say they have the best starting five in basketball. I don't know about that. The Boston Celtics starting five is crazy. They have the two best starting fives definitely in the NBA. And maybe the two best teams. I don't know. Watching the Milwaukee Bucks this afternoon play against Philly, minus Embiid, but organizationally, it was the first time I looked at the Milwaukee Bucks and said to myself, okay, so I see what they're trying to do defensively. And you can disagree with me. That's okay. I'm a defensive guy. I think you win championships because of defense. And the idea of outscoring a great team, I just don't see that happening. The way that the games are refereed, the decrease in possessions, offensive possessions, the nervousness of the players, coaches not being at their best. You got to go out and stop people. So that's what I think. So we've got a lot to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about Steve Kerr. He got a brand new deal, which is fantastic. But his loyalty or him being married to analytics it just bothers me. I don't like that. Now, Steve Kerr is one of the best NBA coaches in history, right? And I'm a guy talking on the internet. I get it. But you can still be great and play instincts and make in-game situations. Literally, you can set your clock to some of Kerr's substitutions. And I think it needs to be looked upon in a way that says, who are we playing? I like my philosophy, but that doesn't necessarily work against this particular team. I will elaborate more as we get into the program. All right. Now, if you look at the comment section, in the Dungeon Show, there is a link. That link is to my new song, Where I'm Supposed to Be. So, take a picture of it, copy it, do whatever you do, and go check my song out. You get an opportunity. I'm excited about it. I like it. It's out there. The response has been pretty positive. All right. Let's get it started. Go out and talk to my man, Andrew the GOAT. Andrew says, the Nuggets are overrated, Red. Okay. Well, hopefully you're going to elaborate on that. He said the Warriors beat themselves tonight. There's some truth to that. The Nuggets are not going far in the playoffs. They can lose with a bad matchup. Jamal Murray's never going to be a Hall of Fame, please. The only thing that stopped Jamal Murray from being in the Hall of Fame is injuries. That is a bad boy. Come on. No, the Nuggets are better than the Warriors. No, they are. You don't think the Nuggets are better than the Warriors? Yeah, they are. Now, like I said before, the best team doesn't always win. It's been proven throughout history. And guess what? There are going to be some upsets in this playoffs. I'm not saying the Warriors can't beat them in a series. I never said that. I don't believe that. But the way they line up, I think Denver's better. Why is that an outrageous statement? They got what? One of the top 3 bigs in the NBA, MVP. Aaron Gordon's never made an all-star team, but trust me, he deserves to be on it. He is an all-star. Michael Porter Jr. has to be one of the best number 3 options in all of the NBA. As sporadic as he is, that dude's talented. And Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a flat-out sniper. And Caldwell Pope. Caldwell Pope has to be one of the top 7 two-way 2 guards in the league. 6'6", 6'7", great defender, a capable 3-point shooter, tough guy, 2-time NBA champion. Come on now. I know my stuff. Did this loss hurt the Warriors or make the playoffs? No. No way. Absolutely not. The Timberwolves are better than the Nuggets. Maybe. Maybe not. It comes down to matchups. I am not sold on the Timberwolves point guard package. I don't even know who their backup point guard is. A lot of times they don't go with a point guard. Now they have one of the best finishers in all of basketball in Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, couple of years, he might be arguably he could be the best player in any given year in the NBA. He's that talented. Whether or not he has the hunger and the thirst and the focus to do it, I have no idea. But what a talent. The Warriors didn't have CP3, so I would say the Nuggets got lucky tonight on that one. I think there's some truth to what you're saying, Andrew. And with that said, The coaching has to be better. This was not one of Kerr's best games. I remember when I was coaching one of my first early high school jobs, right? And I had been coaching at the youth level for a long time. Had a lot of success, coaching a lot of talented players. And I thought it was me. It wasn't me. It was the players I had. So we won a lot. But when I moved into high school and, you know, you design a play defensively or offensively, and you expect your players to do it. And they don't always do it. And you call timeout and you spend your time chastising or asking them why they didn't do it. Or you could be in a scenario where you feel so confident about your team that you allow runs to happen. Because you're thinking like a player. Oh, we're going to get it back. Oh, no, we got this. Stefan's out there. Draymond's out there. We're going to get it back. And then the run continues. That 14-0 run in the first half by Kerr should have never happened. If you watch coaches like I do, and I'm sure some of you do, Rick Carlisle does not allow runs to happen. Eric Spoelstra does not allow runs to happen. They call timeout. It's a national game. You're going to have some stoppages of play. I don't know how many. I'm not saying that you need to burn all your timeouts, but I want to call timeout. That was ominous. A 14-0 run against the reigning world champion going into halftime. That should not happen. So that one was on Kerr. And if the Warriors beat Denver, we knew it was going to be a close game. They were competitive the previous 3 games. But I think from a coach's standpoint, this was not Kerr's best game. The other point I'm going to make is this. Klay Thompson mentally is never going to totally buy in to being a non-starter. He can't. His mentality is it's go time all the time. He can be a great teammate. He can be a great professional like he is. He can see the bigger picture. He could allow himself to be coached. But from a mental standpoint, Klay Thompson will never accept that somebody on this team is better than he is. It ain't going to happen, folks. And I love that about Klay. I love it. It's up to the coach to coach Klay. It's up to Klay to go and play. That rhymes. I like that. It's up to coach to go and play. It's up to... Wow. That was a bar, man. I love that. I'm going to continue my point. But I want to get the people in here. The Warriors had a 17... Put my glasses on. I'm sorry. The Warriors had a 17 turnovers today. Yeah, but how many baskets did they score? Some of them were bad, and I'm going to talk about that as well. But I don't think it was really the turnovers. It was the execution. It was like if Stephen Curry's not playing well and making shots, this team looks a lot different. And he didn't have it tonight. Credit Denver's defense. Kerr said that he thought he was tired after the game. All of those things might be true. The bottom line is he didn't have it tonight. And that made the Warriors look a lot different, which is okay. They have good players. Good evening, Mark Graves. How you doing, brother? Says even Mike Malone called the timeout when Denver was up 9 after a couple of Warriors buckets. Need to stop the momentum. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I learned that. I know that. You know, timeout, man. Let's get it together. Even if you have a possession where you just run 24 seconds, you go into some type of continuity and you just run the clock. There was a couple of instances where the Warriors were off balance defensively and somebody was open, and he just launches it from three. They missed a shot, long rebound. Denver gets a run out, scores, and gets an and one on the other end. Or a bad turnover and a run out on the other end. That should not have happened. You know, when they look at, and again, the cool thing about talking about basketball is this persona that coaches are always perfect gets blowed up because it is not true. I don't care if you're an 8-year-old listening to the program, watching now, going to the games, having a coach sign your jersey with a, hey, there's a small minority of great coaches. Kerr's one of them. He's not perfect. He doesn't always make the right decisions. Back to my point about Klay Thompson. The first half, and for the game, Klay Thompson was one of the few players on the team who had a positive plus minus. I'm not going to beat Brandon Podzinski up. I'm on board. I'm not one of these wishy-washy talk show hosts that one day, you're giving someone pats on the back and then the next day you're killing the person. I'm not going to do that. I've decided that the guy is a good player. He helps the Warriors, and I wish him nothing but the best. But I will tell the truth. The truth is, he played 31 minutes. He had a very tough game tonight. The Warriors' transition defense at times was lackluster. Yeah, at times it wasn't good. Brandon Podzinski played 30 to 31 minutes tonight, had 4 points. The guy who he is essentially playing over, Klay Thompson, was carrying the Warriors in the first half. Second half, he took 3 shots, and he didn't get into the game until what? Mid-third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, when the game was still in the balance, Kerr put Podzinski in, didn't bring Klay back into the game until 4 minutes. Klay was pissed. Even if he didn't say it. He'll have to say it. I'm watching the TV, I'm like, okay, the guy should be on the floor for no other reason. He creates spacing for the team. That was frustrating to me. And I really want Klay Thompson to retire as a Golden State Warrior. I do. It would be an incredible story. The documentaries would be classic. The ceremonies. Maybe they could squeeze out another championship, which is going to be tough. But I want to see Stephen, Klay, and Draymond finish their careers with the Golden State Warriors. But if I'm Klay Thompson, how old is Klay? 32, 33? And I think that I can play another 4 years. And some team offers me not only more money, but a more prominent role. I got to think long and hard about taking that opportunity. I keep talking about one of the national insiders talked about the Orlando Magic maybe being interested in Klay Thompson. It's warm in Miami, no state tax. That's one team. The other team that I'm looking at is OKC. Now, I mentioned it before. Mark Graves says, what are you going to do with his boat? I have no idea. I assume they got some lakes in Oklahoma. But if I'm Klay Thompson and OKC is offering me 3 years at $90 million, at $30 million a year, and the Warriors go, well, we'll give you 25, 2 years, and that's $40 million on the table, to join a team that you know is going to be good. He might have a tough decision to make. And you all might say, hey, Red, that's just basketball. Klay's not that good. Klay is damn good. Did you know Klay Thompson's averaging 17 points a game? He's shooting a low percentage, 41, 42%. And he shoots like 37% from three-point range. Brandon Podziemski shoots 37% from three-point range. I mean, the idea that Klay Thompson has just fell off, and I hear words like trash, it's terrible. Totally untrue. And I think the fact that he wasn't in early in the second half, I wish he would have started. Why couldn't Klay Thompson have started? Steve Kerr has made adjustments at halftime with this lineup so many times we can't even count. But that didn't happen tonight. And I think that had a key impact on the outcome of the game. Because they do a good job scouting and keying on Stephen Curry. They needed Klay's offense out there. Mark Graves says, agree. Klay sat too long after the fast start and lost his hot hand. Yeah, listen, this is Klay Thompson. I feel for the guy. I mean, I'm like, yo, if he doesn't have it going and Brandon has it, okay. But Brandon didn't have it tonight. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because Brandon Podziemski is a high IQ player. Most of the time, he can use his basketball IQ to his advantage against players who might be more gifted, might be better, but not as smart as he is as it relates to basketball. The Denver Nuggets are not like that. Brandon struggles with teams that have really smart players who are ultra athletic. Those like running hooks, those under your elbow scoop shots and all that stuff doesn't work against the really good teams. Does it? It can work against the Lakers or somebody like that where Reeves and D'Angelo are terrible defenders. But Denver? No. Doesn't mean he's not good. He's a hell of a player. He'll probably get off on Tuesday night against the Washington Wizards. But tonight, I thought Steve should have made an adjustment early in his lineup. The two guys that were playing really well, Klay Thompson and GP2. Particularly when GP2 was on the court, the Warriors were right there because his defense is phenomenal. And when he wasn't in the game on one of their key players, they put him on Porter Jr. He turned his water off. They put him on Jamal a little bit. Was making him work, stopped him quite a bit. But when GP2 wasn't in the game, the Warriors' perimeter defense was not very good. I thought that was a mistake. I'm like, keep him in the game. So this is how I'm watching the game. It doesn't mean the Warriors would have won. Denver is a hell of a basketball team. And there's really no answer for Jokic. That dude makes basketball look easy. And it's not easy. It's hard. When I was a kid, I used to be a fan of a player by the name of Jack Sikma. Jack Sikma was a member of the Seattle Supersonics. Another tall guy, pretty good footwork, shoot the face-up jumper. Jokic makes him look sick. I mean, Sigma's not even in Jokic's class. I love Jack Sikma. But compared to Jokic, there's no contest. I mean, Jokic is very like Hakeem Olajuwon like. You just can't stop him. He's so skilled. So the Warriors going to have to do things differently. I mean, you're not going to beat them with a conventional style. You get up 14 against the Denver Nuggets, you're going to have to find a way to maintain your lead. You can't give away a 14-point lead in the first half simply because you're not shooting well. That's not a good enough excuse. Stop the clock. Get the ball inside. So tough loss. I would say give Denver the credit because their scout was really good. Michael Malone is a coach that keeps a little distance between himself and all of his players, like he should. So they all know that at the end of the day, it's basketball, and they got to play to earn their position, to earn their minutes. They got to play. Michael Malone will fall in love with you when you're playing well, but when you're not playing well, he's going to let you know. He's going to hold you accountable, and he's going to go with guys who are playing well. So they have the look of a team that's going to be tough to beat in the West. They really do. Mark Graves says, it's crazy how Jokic scores without doing any jumping. And it's pretty automatic within 6 feet of the basket. Yeah. Yes. And then, by the way, if you don't acknowledge him from the three-point line, he'll knock that down. And he's a great passer. But that's okay, There've been other great low post players. You got to compete. The Warriors are up 14 at home. Without Stephen Curry playing well. I saw a couple of plays from Lester Quinones tonight, like some crazy passes. Like, by and large, Lester Quinones has played well. And he's getting big boy minutes now. But every now and then he'll look like a G League player. The game hasn't slowed down to the point where he's watching the game and watching the plays. He tried to do like a behind the back pass from the lower box. I mean, you guys see some of this stuff. But give him credit. He's improved his shot. His shot looks like a professional shot now. A quicker release. His elbow is straighter. Give him the credit and give the coaches the credit who's been working with him. I'm so happy for this guy. But once you get on the floor, you got to perform. He made some crucial mistakes in this game that led to bad possessions, turnovers, and run outs on the other end. I don't know what Lester's plus minus was tonight. What was it? Anybody know what his plus minus was? He hit 2 threes, so maybe that helped him. What was his plus minus? Anybody know? Gabriel says, TJD had some plays tonight. Yeah, he did. Whenever I watch him, Gabriel, I think he should do even better. I mean, I think he should consistently just come in and jump off my TV screen. He's that talented. And one of the things about Jackson Davis that I want to see him get better at is he's not the best rebounder. He rebounds well in space. But he's not like, when you got like 5 guys going for the ball and one guy's going to come down with it, that needs to be him. It's not consistently. It's not him. It's somebody else coming out of the lion's den with the ball. I don't like that. Go get the ball. Get off your feet and go get the ball. If I didn't see the potential, if I didn't think that he could do it, I wouldn't be saying anything. I see the potential in this young man. Go get the ball. There were some key possessions, some offensive rebounds that Denver got tonight when TDJ was in there. I think he should have come down with. Thank you. Yeah, -1 for Lester Quinones. That's because he was up quite a bit early on. He made some big shots early on. But there was a couple of plays in the third quarter that were crucial that he needed to execute. He didn't do it. Gabriel, I like to see him get that dog in him on the rebounds and finish strong around the basket. Yes, sir. You and I are on the same page, Gabriel. Because you see the talent, right? Instead of those soft tip-ins that can rattle out half the time. Yeah. Exactly. Mark Graves, TJD might need to hit the weights and get stronger. Can't hurt, but he has a strong body. This is a big dude with bounce. And he played at least 4 years in college. Jackson Davis, how old is Jackson Davis? 23? 22? I mean, this is prime time. Because the same comments that I made about Brandon Podzinski, you can make the same comments about Saric. In a environment of ultra athletes, Saric gets overwhelmed, which was the case tonight. He couldn't get his game off in the post because Denver's athletes are too good. This was a Jackson Davis game tonight, if he wanted it. It wasn't a Looney game. Every time that somebody drives to the lane on Looney, it's an automatic foul. I don't get it. When people drive the lane on Draymond moves his feet, keeps his hands up, assesses whether or not the shot has a chance to go in, and more times than not, he's grabbing the defensive rebound. I'm like, why can't Looney do that? Why does the play always end in a foul? Jackson Davis should be getting some of those minutes. "24 as a few days ago." Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Really? He's 24. He's 24. I was going to say something funny, but I don't know if I'm going to say it. The first thing I was going to say, it has nothing to do with him. But for some NBA players, that's 2 wives ago. That was funny. Has nothing to do with Jackson Davis. Wonderful young man. But you guys get the point. 24? Now 24 it's like, okay, where's my next contract? How's he going to get his next contract? By going out and rebounding the basketball and being a tough, you know what, inside. I didn't see that. I need to see it. Because I actually think that the Warriors have a chance to get the 6th seed. I believe that. The Lakers, to me, they don't look like a good team at all. They don't. I mean, it's almost like the haves and the have-nots. They're disjointed. And it's funny. The funny thing to me now is this courting phase that the Warriors and the Lakers were kind of involved in with regards to LeBron. I think it's going to resurface in the summer if the Lakers flame out real early. I think it'll start off with whispers, and then you're going to hear some conversations. I do believe that. A lot of Warrior fans would be like, "Yeah, I don't want LeBron. I hate LeBron. I don't want him in a Warrior uniform. No way." Okay. It could happen. Because LeBron, it does not want to show up on the Lakers if they have no chance to win. I mean, he's already kind of like a nomad in NBA circles. The amount of teams that he's played for, not many superstars play for as many teams as LeBron James has played for. He also could do something pretty incredible and pretty unique. He could conceivably win a championship for every team that he played for. That's impressive. If he ever would play for the Warriors. I don't think it's out of bounds, folks. I don't. I think the Warriors have best case scenario pieces for LA. They would just have to work it out. I don't know if LeBron's overly concerned about backlash. Even right now, if LeBron never won another title in LA, he's not getting the Kobe treatment. He's not getting the Magic Johnson treatment. He's not getting the Shaq treatment. He's not. And he knows that. So all of these things, I believe, are going through his mind and saying, wow, he's always dreamt and just kind of, it's almost alluring. Visualize what it would be like to play with Stephen Curry, his boy Draymond. Woo. Mark Gray, so the Lakers are getting nothing from their bench. Nothing at all, man. They're just not a good team. I mean, here's the thing about LeBron. LeBron brings a lot of stuff you don't want to deal with to the table. You know, he has a big entourage. It's like a Hollywood production. But on the court, it's all good. LeBron would fit in perfectly on the Warriors. Why? Because he's smart as hell. He's a basketball savant. One of the best passers ever to play in the NBA, in the history of the game, one of the best passers. The game would be easy for him. From an owner's perspective, some of you might not have been aware, you might be too young, I don't know. But when the Chicago Bulls got Dennis Rodman and they went on their 72-game season, it was unlike anything that we've ever seen before in sports. That type of coverage was unbelievable. If LeBron James was traded to the Warriors, I think that you would have something similar to that. Now you might say, Red, why would the Warriors blow up their team, give away their assets for that? Because owners are greedy, because they love winning, because players and coaches want to win. If they think that they could improve their team to the extent that they would be in a better position to win a championship and make more money, they do it. I have a good buddy who works in this industry, and I haven't called him out yet. I'm just waiting. This guy is a superstar in sports talk radio in Northern California. Superstar. Big time. Last year, he sent me a text. I think it was a text or a voicemail, maybe. And he said, Red, you know how much I love you. You know how much I respect you. But you are way off thinking that Kyrie Irving is going to be successful in Dallas. He said no way, Red. No way will Kyrie be successful in Denver. I'm not emotional. So I didn't go, oh, what are you talking about? No, I just said, okay, all right. We'll see. And I still haven't called them out on it. But thus far, you would have to say that Kyrie Irving has been a successful contributor to success in Dallas. And I don't know if he can work with Luka and all that crap. No one's talking about that now. And Dallas only signed him to a 3-year deal. But my point is this. Big boys and big girls make it work. It's that important. If it's that important, you make it work. It's a job. You're not married to each other. It's a job. Warrior fans, you want to win? Then just don't shut that down. Because it can happen. Mark Graves says Laker wants championships. Yes, he does. This dude's a Jerry Jones of basketball. Are you kidding me? The only difference between him and Jerry Jones is that he actually wins championships. Laker raised a few eyebrows. What was it? 5 years ago now, or 6? I don't know how many years ago it was, when he goes that we're light years ahead of everybody else. When was that? When he made that statement. Now, people kind of raised out like, okay. It's good to talk like that when you got Kevin Durant and you got Stephen Curry, and Draymond, and Clay. But then they won in 22. Changed the game. Because they were not the best team. But apparently they had the best organization, the best culture, and mentally the most focused team to get it done when it mattered. Part of that is Lacob. You got to give Lacob some credit for that. Because Lacob is the top of the snake. Got to give him credit for that. Some of it. Because he sets the expectations. He's not, if he has an opportunity if he thinks the Warriors can be better, then he's not thinking about 5-10 years down the road. Let's think about right now. The next year or two. The Dallas Cowboys haven't won a championship since what, 93? Are you kidding me? This is history we're talking about. History. We're not talking about fans who just started going to the Warrior games when they moved to San Francisco. Come on. Or fans who jumped on board when the Warriors just started winning a decade ago. This team didn't go to the playoffs for 13 straight years. Spencer says, like the beam, slide into 5th. You know what? I watched a little bit of that Sac Kings game, and I was surprised at their defensive intensity, man. Sac, I got you, man. I love how they play defense tonight. And the fact that Paul George didn't play, it matters, but it doesn't matter. Because the best teams play against themselves. You're playing against your own standard. The same thing like the Indiana Pacers pulled away from the Dallas Mavericks tonight. When you are playing your best basketball, you don't really worry about who you're playing. You're playing against your own standard. I saw some things from the Kings tonight that I really liked. The Kings' challenge is really consistency. Spencer says Fox is turning it up. He looked good tonight. He really did. He looked good. And he needs to. He's the best player on the team. Right? Domantas Sabonis might have something to say about that. And Domantas has had a better season than De'Aaron Fox. But I think when it's nut cutting time, if the Sacramento Kings are going to ascend, it's going to be because De'Aaron Fox is playing really good basketball. But good win. Good win. Slide into fifth. Yeah. What's ideal for the Kings? Is it 3 like it was last year? I don't know. This is a crazy, crazy year because teams 7 through 10 can beat you. Last year, I don't think that was the case. I think there were some teams that got into the play-in who were happy to be there. That's not the case this year. The 10 teams in the Western Conference who is going to have a playoff experience is set. Houston and Utah are not getting in. You guys know that. It's all about jockeying between 6 through 10. It's going to be tough. Spencer says, I still think Sabonis is the best, but Fox is better scorer and defender. Yeah, and I think Sabonis, he's been great this year, but he's an easier check. You can get the ball out of his hands. Lakers falling hard. Yeah. Which is why my thesis makes sense. LeBron is not married to the Lakers, and the Lakers are not married to LeBron. I think they know that now. It's just, to me, it's just like, do you want to be hated in LA? I don't want to be hated in LA. That's tough. You go up to the Warriors, their rival, and granted, LeBron has never said he wanted to be traded. He said, I hope I'm a Laker for life. But a lot of people don't want to see the possibilities. It might be advantageous to the Lakers to move him. Dude, 39 years old. You need some younger players who are good. The Warriors have younger players who are good with potential. I hope the Warriors trade Moses Moody in the offseason. I think they will too. I don't know if I could deal with what he's dealt with. I don't know. He's such a class human being. Straight class. But dude has not got an opportunity to play. He's in the freezer. I hope he gets traded. I've been thinking, keep an eye on this on Tuesday night. A Moody for Kippert trade might be in the works. Look at it, from Gonzaga, Kippert, from the Washington Wizards. I could easily see him being on the Warriors next year. Having a pretty decent career, not great, but okay. Good role player, can shoot it. More athletic than you think, also. Not a great rebounder, not a great defender, but, fits the Warriors culture. That thing. Moody needs to get some time to become whatever he is, because he's a hell of a lot more than I think that we've seen with the Warriors. And from Kerr's perspective, you can't play everybody. I get it. But why is he out? Why is he out of the mix? It's tough. Spencer says, AD ain't it. AD getting the All-Star nod over Sabonis was a joke. Yeah, you know what? I got to agree with you. AD's played really, really well. He has. You can't trash AD and pump up DeMontis. But DeMontis Sabonis has had the best year of his career. And he's a 3-time All-Star, right? DeMontis, 3-time? He should have been an All-Star this year. Over AD. Because the Kings have a better record. I'm not putting De'Aaron Fox over Stephen. That's not happening. But I think DeMontis should have been an All-Star. AD was a popularity thing and being in LA. I agree with you. And there's some irony there, though, Spencer, because AD actually is having a really good year. He really is. But their bench is not consistent. And the overall IQ of the team is not high. Can you think of, I can think of D'Angelo Russell is a decent passer, not great. Austin Reeves is a decent passer, not great. LeBron is a phenomenal passer. Who else on the Lakers can you point to and say, Red, this person is a good passer? I'll wait. What that translates into, the game is going to be hard. When you're making shots, it's all good. No problem. Somebody passes you the ball, you're open, you knock it down. But when you got to create points off movement, backdoor cuts, pin downs, and then slips, you don't see that with the Lakers. You don't. The games are hard. And if they're not making shots, it's tough. The only person who can really pass is LeBron. So if I notice this, LeBron notices it. It's draining. So I would agree with you. I mean, I'm still shaking my head how the Warriors, how the Lakers made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. I don't see that happening this year. Maybe they'll surprise me. I don't think that's going to happen. The Warriors got kind of a reality check tonight. They lose 119-103 to the Denver Nuggets in a game that was competitive. The first quarter and a half, they lost a 14-point lead. Denver goes on a 14-point run to close the lead to 0 at halftime, 61-61, and they own the third quarter. And the Warriors never really got a hold of the game. It was within 4 or 5 points, but we still felt that they were kind of climbing a hill. And that's what it was. Spencer says, always like your takes. Well, I appreciate it, brother. You matter to me, Like I said before, I love doing this because I love to do like research and all this stuff. So I don't just come on air and just kind of talk. No, I do research. I love it. You're worth it. You matter to me. I don't care if it's, and I don't care about the numbers. I care about the content. All right. I glazed over the topic, but I'm happy for Steve Kerr getting his deal. 2 year, $35 million deal. And to me, it was in the bag. It was only about how much money. I mean, can you imagine someone that's trying to coach Stephen, Draymond, and Clay if he's here? I think Clay's going to be here. Some new coach? Come on. Stephen, can you fade out a little wider on that rub screen? Can you take less shots? Draymond, come on. Draymond, I need you to hustle a little bit more. I mean, now I'm halfway joking because those guys will be like, Red, I play for any damn body. I'm a pro. I get it. So I'm joking. But there's some truth to what I'm saying. It would be difficult for any new coach to come into this organization and coach these 3 Hall of Famers. It'd be hard. You know that. Spencer says, I want the Nuggets fully healthy and the Kings fully healthy when they play. The Kings got the 3-0 lead. Oh, really? Wow. Now, the Kings are a good matchup. Why? Because the Kings have a low post scoring threat. And Jokic is not a very good defender. That's why I love NBA basketball. It's about the matchups. It's about the matchups. The Kings against the Nuggets in the first round will be absolutely tasty. Can you definitively say that you know who will win that series? I don't. Mark Graves says, I would tell Steph, stop with the cross-court passes. Can you imagine that? Hey, Steph, the left-handed ear pass that you like to throw, we got to get rid of that, man. Or it's going to cost you some minutes, Steph. All right? And we got a guy, Spencer, the G League's been playing pretty well on a 2-way now. So no more cross-court passes. That's tough. Lacob knew. Mike Dunleavy Jr. knew. Everybody knew. We have to lock up Kerr so he's on the same timeline as our Hall of Fame players. I was thinking about that today, watching Stephen in the first half. I would be happy to see Stephen Curry play out his contract. What do you have, like 2 more years, 3 more years, and just retire. I don't want to see the steady erosion or the precipitative drop of Stephen Curry's abilities. I don't want to see that. Don't want to see it. He wanted to play longer than his dad did. His dad played 16 years. He's guaranteed to play at least 17. I'm cool with that. To see him, because I'm not comparing him and Tiger Woods, but what we see now from Tiger Woods, first of all, none of us can really physically imagine or physically feel what Tiger's going through. After all the surgeries, the accidents, the nerves, the body twitches, we can't emulate that. We don't know what that's about. But it's still a bad look. I don't want to see Tiger Woods leaving a tournament before Sunday if he makes the cut in a cart. I don't want to see that. I'd rather he just not play. I mean, what is the likelihood of Tiger finishing a tournament should be the question. If he can't finish the tournament, then he shouldn't play. I love how Stephen Curry's twilight years have been. He's been money. I would love to see that resemblance until his contract is over in a couple of years and see him ride up into the sunset. Rebuild. Spencer says, I don't think Steph will ever be in any other jersey, which is awesome to say. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Stephen and the Warriors are definitely married. No doubt about that. He's the only player that we can say that about, though. I wanted to say something also. It's not necessarily about J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick tore Doc Rivers a new one on First Take. I don't know if you guys saw it early this week, but it got personal. And it wasn't a good look to me because I don't know if JJ would have said those things to Doc if he was sitting right in front of him. I think probably not. The other thing, and JJ, he said, I had a chance to look at it. I talked to some people. On his podcast, he essentially said that he didn't like that he did it. He goes, I have no regrets. I don't take anything back, but I don't like it. Kind of almost apologizing, not quite. But it was a bad look. Here's the problem that I have as a player. I was not an NBA player, right? I never played in the NBA. That's not my point. My point is this. If I am a player and I am up 3-1 in a series and the other team has 5 players like I have, I will never blame my coach for the losses. It's unbelievable to me that these players blame their coaches. It's embarrassing. When Doc Rivers won his first championship as the head coach of the Boston Celtics, they didn't win because of Doc Rivers. They won because of Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Big Perk, Leon Poe, Baby Davis, guy from Hayward, can't think of his name right now, with Arizona State, Eddie House. That's why they won. The guy who went to Xavier, can't think of his name right now. I don't like that. I just don't. I mean, listen. One of the biggest travesties to me is OKC being up 3-1 on the Warriors. Game 6 Clay. Being up 3-1 against the Warriors with an 8-point lead with 4 minutes to go, and then blame the coach for the loss. When their star players, I'm talking about like the most inexplicable turnovers that you ever would want to see. Nobody around you, ball going out of bounds. You blame the coach? Come on. Come on. We got to stop that. We got to hold people accountable. Stop that. Doc Rivers never claimed to be the best coach in the history of basketball. He's a good coach. You want to blame Doc Rivers for Embiid losing in the playoffs? Really? When he's never really been in shape. That's Doc Rivers' fault? Come on. The only thing Doc Rivers did was he was honest about Ben Simmons. He should not have done that. He should have lied like everybody else. He was a little too honest because that just rocked Ben Simmons' world and he still hasn't recovered. And I think there is a psychology component to sports. But that's the only thing that Doc Rivers has ever done. Doc Rivers is a very good coach. Probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame. And it's interesting because I don't know if Milwaukee's gonna win a championship or not. I don't know. He has added more structure to that team. They are playing better defense. It might have been just by coincidence, but Crowder in the starting lineup gives them a more balanced forward. You know, they have more of a defensive alignment now. So we'll see. But JJ blaming Doc for the Clippers' demise? Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop it. When you got a Hall of Fame point guard in Chris Paul? I can't go with that. The coach is responsible for everything. But is this his fault? That's my take on that. I didn't like that. The other thing I want to get out there is St. John's. You guys see St. John's today against Creighton? Rick Pitino publicly threw his team under the bus. He said he didn't, but I think most people believe that he did. But there were some things that he said. I love how his team responded. I love how he responded. He apologized. And St. John's came out today and played like their hair was on fire. Like it was literally life or death. That's how they played at Madison Square Garden. And it was beautiful to see because I'm sure that's how Rick Pitino expects all of his teams to play. And it took him calling them out in a weird way that might have some lasting effects. I don't know. But it was refreshing to see them respond in a way that says, you know what? I'm going to show coach that I'm not unathletic. I can jump. I can do all this. Coaches use psychology all the time. My coaches always did that with me. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't get 15 rebounds. What? I watch. They're probably laughing because because we always want to prove people wrong. So I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if St. John's is going to make it to the tournament or not. I have no idea. But it was refreshing to see those young men go out there in the world's greatest arena and play against a really good Creighton team that would have buried them if they came out with no energy. Creighton is probably the best shooting team in America. They can shoot it. And if you don't contest their shots, ball down, man. So big up Pitino and big up his team. The last thing I'm happy about is Eric Bieniemy is going to be the offensive coordinator for UCLA this year. And I love it because he's going to a place where he's worked before and he's not going to be questioned. He's going to be given the literal keys to the car to make things happen. And there's not that much difference between NFL and top-notch college football. It's not. He's an offensive coordinator. He's calling plays. If he's successful at UCLA, if he really makes a difference, people are going to notice it. I love that. I love that he found a good landing spot. And people might, boo-hoo him or push him to the side, but Eric Bieniemy quietly did a hell of a job last year as the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. He resurrected Howe's career. Think about that. Jake Howe, I don't know Howe's first name. The kid out of North Carolina was a 5th-round pick. He put up big numbers last year. And there was a 4, 5, 6 game stretch in which Howe was balling. You got to give Eric Bieniemy some credit for that. A lot of credit for that. He's calling the plays. So I wanted to get all of that in. The NC2A tournament is on the horizon. A couple of weeks. It's going to start Selection Sunday. A lot of league championships are about to start. Kansas has really developed some players. I like Kansas. A Kansas UConn championship game would be tasty. And I think it's a real possibility. Kansas has this kid from Australia, Frufke, who can ball. He's showing up on some NBA draft boards. First-year kid out of Australia. They're good. Kansas is really good. So keep your eye on Kansas. UConn is what they are. They're rock solid. Edie, I don't believe in Purdue. And the reason why I don't believe in Purdue is because you can put 2 or 3 guys on Edie and he has to pass the ball. You can take him out of the game. His game does not extend beyond 5 or 6 feet. And in a pressure-packed NC2A type game where teams are packing the paint and making players make shots who are 18, 19, 20-year-olds, it's tough, which is why they've lost early in the tournament. So I'm not big on Purdue. I'm big on UConn. I'm big on Kansas. Houston's going to be there in some form or fashion. Seton Hall is pretty interesting. They're grimy, like their coach. So keep your eye on them as well. In the women's game, I love what I see from the women. I just love it. The ascension of the women's game is unbelievable. Check it out, man. I'm a big Paige Beckers fan. I love Paige's game. Her mid-range is filthy. I'm glad she's coming back to college next year. Juju Watkins at USC is just, she's the female, she's the female Kobe to me. She plays like Kobe Bryant. She's going to break every record. Every record is going to be hers. She's that good. Pretty good week in sports. The Warriors can't take the Washington Wizards lightly on Tuesday. The Wizards are actually playing much better basketball. Maybe Jordan Poole has slipped to the bottom of NBA career purgatory. I don't know. He got taken out of the starting lineup of the Washington Wizards, and he responded pretty well. He had 31 points today. So knowing Kerr, he's not going to allow the team to take the Commanders lightly. I think if the Warriors can win 2 of the 4 games on this road trip, you would have to consider that to be successful. They play Washington. They play my Knicks. They play the Boston Celtics, and they play, which might be the toughest game, the Toronto Raptors up there. That's going to be tough. So if they go in, anything better than 2-2, you're smiling all the way to the bank if you're a Warrior fan. Anything less than 2-2, and that's a major, major step back in the Warriors' prospects for challenging for the 6th seed, right? All right, everybody. I can't do no more. I want to thank y'all for checking me out tonight. I appreciate you. You got any questions real quick about anything in sports, put it in the chat, and I will answer it. Beyond that, look at the screen. It says @BigFrankRed. Hit me up on X. Follow me. Follow this particular show. Our numbers have been it's been hard to get subscribers. I probably don't do a good enough job promoting. Maybe people just don't feel the show. I don't know. But if you like the show, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because it certainly helps. I focus on content. That's what I do. I don't focus on the numbers. I focus on content. I think that's the That's my role, and that's what I can do. Everything else will work itself out. I want to thank everybody for listening to the program. I'm going to do my thing and get out of here, y'all. Success. Mark Graves says, night, Frank. Thanks for the show. No, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you, brother. Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. We'll probably be on Tuesday night following the Warriors game. Until then, everybody be safe, and I'll check you out down the road. Peace.